Hi and welcome to Lesson 18, Microsoft Word here at Heartbeat Christian Academy. And I trust you've learned a lot so far. Remember, everything that you've learned, you can apply. And those things can really make your documents look much, much more professional. And today we're going to talk about headers and footers. And we're going to be explaining that to you. Before we carry on, before we get to the manual there, just let me give you the banking details once again. If you wanted to support the ministry, you are welcome. And then also just provide you with the contact details, because I do believe that the contact details are necessary many times when people want to contact you. So, Microsoft Word, Lesson 18, working with headers and with footers. And what will we learn today? To insert a header or a footer, to insert the date or the time into the header and the footer, to remove content controls, adding page numbers, to hide the page number on the first page, and to format the page numbers. That's basically it. So it's not a difficult lesson. I'm very excited to go through this with you, and I'm sure you're going to learn this very quickly. You might already know it. I want to challenge you again to open up your Word document, a blank Word document, and just work with us as we go through this, because when you are doing it physically on your computer, you are going to learn this much, much easier. So let's go to the manual and let's just change this. Yeah, there we are. Manual page 55, lesson 18, working with headers and working with footers. And the first instruction there is to insert a header or a footer, and I'm going to show you how to do that again now. And then also just to make sure that you know you can do some design changes on that. And then we're going to also insert the date and the time. That should be easy enough. So let's do that first, and then you can learn from that. I'm going to open up, double click on the Word icon, open up the criteria, the assignment criteria document, and then I'm going to take you to display 2. And here we are on the second display. And now we can work in our Word document. So can you think where you would go? Any guesses where you would go to actually insert a header or a footer? Just listen to what I'm saying. Insert. Well, that's right. You have to go to insert. So that's where we have to go. Right there on top on the insert tab. Once we click there, we will see the options are there. We've already spoken about inserting page breaks. We've spoken about inserting pictures, online pictures. We've inserted some shapes. So we've worked on this tab quite a lot. And now we're going to go to this section, which is your header and footer section. Now, just to let you know, in the past, I never used to really, whenever I wanted to add a header to my page, I would just double click on the top section of the page and start designing it. The reason for having a header and a footer is to have something that consistently repeats itself across different pages. So anything that, if I double click here, and anything that I insert here, I might copy and paste even something. Anything that I insert here will repeat on all the pages. So I can put there test. I can then format test a bit by highlighting it or bolding it, making it 28 and making it red, and that is test. Once I double click, I'm out of my header. But as I go down now to page 2, I will see test is on page 2, test is on page 3, test is on page 4, and so forth. So just to give you an idea, that is why you would have a header, and a lot of times you would add your logo on the header section. And if I want to go edit that, I double click on it again, I delete it. The correct way actually to insert the header is to go to insert and then to go to headers, because once you've gone there, you will be able to put a blank header in there, but you'll also be able to select headers. And if you click on the down arrow there, you will see there's quite a number of headers that's already got information in there a lot of that information that pulls through. So say for instance I select this one retrospective and I double click, I've added this in, and once I select the header, I do have a design tab where I can design. I can actually change things on the header. This specific header is obviously every tab I click will open the options. So that is a document title, that is a date, and that's already in the header here. I can also go to layout, I can go to design, I can go to various things here. If I wanted to, say for instance, add something in the header, I could add stuff into a header, into a blank header, and I could also change things here. Just need to sort of look at what they've done here in terms of the design. Let's just have a look if I can actually fill that portion of the header too. So there's things you can do with the existing headers. The one thing that's sometimes irritating are these blocks here. If you go back to the manual, just want to go back to the manual and show you. It's called content controls. It's content controls. It actually pulls through from the main information of the document. So say you've given the document a title, and like on this particular header, that document title will pull through to all the pages, but it will pick it up from the content control. But maybe if you don't want that, you can right click on it and you can go remove content control, and it will then take away that. And it's the same with that one. You can go there and you can say remove content control, and now you've removed it. Now if you wanted to insert your own date, you could insert your own date and decide what format you wanted it to be. So you can say I rather like that format, so you can insert your date, and now I've inserted a date here specifically on the header, rather my own date than to have their date. And then I can type a title in here, and I can do I can change the header sizes, I can do some alignment, and once I've finished with my header, I can either double click outside of the header by changing that and just changing it back, or I can just use the top option there, which is to close the header. And as you can see, this also, like the previous one, will now repeat on all my pages. So that's just a way of doing like a letterhead maybe, or something very professional, double clicking on it. You can also highlight the entire thing and just delete it. So I've just deleted everything there, or I can just delete this header as a table. So you must also watch out when you're inserting your headers. It could be various different things that you are inserting. So this particular one that we did was a table. If we go to insert again and we go to header, we can go and this one might not be a table. It might be a different type of a header. It looks like it's more a block. If we go to format, we can see, okay, this is a block, it's not a table. So I can use the standard formatting options here on this particular one to change the color. I can go here and I can change the alignment of the text by just clicking on the text align options here under the paragraph setting. I can change that, and again this is a control content block, so I can remove that if I wanted to remove that. So let's go back to the manual and see what we've done so far. We've done the insert of the date. I've done the remove of the control content, and then we can just maybe look at the page numbers that you can do in headers and footers, and again it's going to do it automatically across all the documents that you do. So if I'm still currently in the header of the document, so I'm just going to go over to display 2, and let's go to the footer here, because this is a good example. There you can see in my footer I've got an existing page number that I've chosen, and I chose that, and you can format that. You can put it in the middle, you can put it on the side, or you can put it on the right hand side. That's just the current positions of the page numbers, and then you can also go and you can actually physically format those page numbers, that they run in a certain way, that they certain type of page numbers. You can have those page numbers both in the header and the footer, so you can either have the page numbers there, or you can even have them here. So here we've got again bottom of the page, top of the page. So say for instance you say I want this is the one I used, and again there are many more options as you're going through it, but that's just to have a page number. And say for instance you say, okay, I want this page number, let's just choose one. Let's go for one that like that one. Okay, so that's a page number, and now you can say there on top, just notice there on the top under the design tab, it says different first page. If you click that, it will take the number off the first page, because a lot of times your first page, you don't want that number. It might be a title page. So you don't want that to be numbered, and then it will run through your document. As you can see there, it runs consistently. The page numbers run right through the document. So let's go back to the manual again, and we've looked at the headers, and we've also looked at the footers. The header and the footer is exactly sort of the same. The one's just on top and the one is on the bottom, and like I showed you there as well, we can hide the first page number, which is something that you can do if you wanted to do that. And then you can format the numbers. I showed you, open the block there, so you can format the numbers, and that's basically headers and footers. So yeah, well, I don't think that it's not that complicated, to be honest. It's quite easy. You can double click on the top, double click on the bottom, insert it, or you can actually just go to insert and then select it. Select a page header or page footer, and it will then follow through on all your documents, and you can repeat that. What I most of the time do is we design a logo separately, and we have a nice logo, and then we will actually just copy and paste that logo in the header, and then maybe put the text on the one side with the address and the phone number and the email address and the website details, and then put the logo on the other side in the header, and then have that repeat throughout your document. That is pretty straightforward. So what are you going to be required to actually do? You're going to have to create a new Word document, which you can create a blank header, which is just blank, so you don't have to use any of the formats. Add your name in the header like I showed you, and then you're going to have to be able to write align the text of the header, and that's just going back to the home tab and align, and using the alignment tools to align it. And then you're going to have to select a built-in footer, just the standard footer by insert footer, and select the footer that you're going to use for that. So that's been pretty easy. And the next lesson, lesson 19, is actually our last lesson, and we're going to be wrapping it up in that lesson, and then we're going to be talking about working with tabs. So I look forward to seeing you in the last lesson. Just you've held out and you've done your work, so don't give up now. Make sure you attend the last class, which is lesson 19, working with tabs. I'll see you in lesson 19. God bless.